All right, let's get started. Joseph Robinette Rogan came out with a Instagram video. Now, this Instagram video was recorded midday yesterday. This Instagram video came out after Spotify lost like a bunch in its valuation, okay? Or not, Spotify lost a bunch of market value. It's been losing a bunch of market value already, but the Joe Rogan controversy definitely added to this after Neil Young decided to pull out, and then like some other people decided to pull out, but that wasn't really like Spotify didn't lose its market value because Neil Young pulled out, but more so because people are talking about how Joe Rogan is, spreading a load of misinformation on Spotify. So Neil Young starting this conversation and numerous other people like picking it up. That's old info. Their stock price gone up. Of course they went up because they responded to it, and it's a major company. Just listen. Stock value in this situation is not all that significant, but volatility or shifts that are larger than before will cause a company to potentially respond to it. But ultimately, Spotify responded to this and they said, we are going to put we're going to tell Joe Rogan, stop doing this. Okay. We're going to wag the finger at Joe Rogan. And remember, at the time I said, like, Joe Rogan's not going to fucking change anything. Spotify's not going to do shit about Joe Rogan. They're going to choose Joe Rogan and not Neil Young because obviously they gave $100 million to Joe Rogan. Like they like Joe Rogan a lot. Okay. It's a big deal for them. So why the fuck would they rip their cash cow? Doesn't matter if he's doing anti-vax shit. Okay. Which he has been. And he will probably continue to do. So, what did Joseph Robinette Rogan have to say to the controversy, though? Because everyone's like, dude, this bullshit. I mean, it started off with like doctors coming out and saying, you need to fucking cancel Joe Rogan. You need to cancel Joe Rogan. I want to start off by stating this, first and foremost. And people are going to get mad at me for saying this. I don't want to cancel Joe Rogan. I don't. In the grand scheme of things, Joe Rogan's anti-vaxxer takes are, unfortunately now, making up a large chunk of its fucking content. But like, that's not what Joe Rogan is supposed to be about, okay? And I still enjoy Joe Rogan. So I don't want to let go of the podcast I forced all of my female guests to watch when they're here. I just want him to stop fucking crying about anti-vaxxer bullshit, okay? And I want Joe Rogan to go back to the old content that he used to do, which was good, okay, and fun. But the thing I have to mention here is that Joe Rogan has consistently always held on to certain beliefs that he will ride or die for, okay? Weed was one of those beliefs. Divorce court was another one of those beliefs. Trans women competing with cis women was another one of those, okay? And obviously there's a variety of different ones that are dangerous, spicy to harmless, right? Harmless one being, the moon landing is fake, or weed is good, because that's not even a bad thing. That's just a good take. Whatever, who cares? Weed is fine. And then relatively more harmful, but not really, is like the divorce court stuff and like what it opens up. And then you have transphobia, which is definitely bad. And now on that docket, you have added one other fucking thing, okay? Joe Rogan's beauty and brilliance comes from him being a chameleon and basically repeating whatever the fuck his guests are saying to him. He's very good at like not really saying too much, but actually having cool guests on that he just listens to and he basically repeats, right? That's why he's good at podcasting. That's like what he's good at. He's demonstrably good at that. Okay. Joe Rogan, unfortunately, however, has added the vaccine skepticism onto that. Okay. Vaccine skepticism is absolutely another thing that he rides or dies for. So let's watch what he has to say. But basically, this is his address to Spotify.
Hello, friends. I wanted to make a video to address some of the controversy that's been going on over the past few days. And first of all, to say thank you to everyone that sent love and support. I truly, truly appreciate it. And it's been very nice to hear from you. I wanted to make this video, first of all, because I think there's a lot of people that have a distorted perception of what I do, maybe based on sound bites or based on headlines of articles that are disparaging. The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation, specifically about two episodes, a little bit about some other ones, but specifically about two. One with Dr. Peter McCullough and one with Dr. Robert Malone.
Like, for the record, these two men that he is referencing here, they are absolutely, without a doubt, like, these guys are cranks, okay? They're charlatans, they're cranks. This is what they do. They traffic misinformation about vaccines, okay? This is not like, ooh, I accidentally had some people on who said some crazy shit. Like, no, they're this is what they do. Like, he had people on that go on like Alex Jones, okay? Like InfoWars grifters. These are snake oil salesmen. These are grifters. They have ridiculous fucking takes on the COVID vaccine, and platforming them while you yourself are a vaccine skeptic is really insane. Like, actually fucking insane. How is Rogan has had Alex Jones in the past? How is this different? Because these guys they're abusing their background and making it seem as though they are actually authorities on the subject matter that they're covering, which Joe Rogan will literally defend. So them having credentials in this situation makes it so much worse than Alex Jones, because Alex Jones is talking about like psychic pedophile vampires or whatever the fuck. But when Alex Jones talks about like vaccines are actually turning you gay, that's one thing. But when you have someone who is like literally credentialed or had credentials in the past, use that is, you know, it's a little bit different. Like, and he's going to defend them in this video as well. So you'll understand why it's different. And when he actually does have on his friends like Dr. Rhonda Patrick, right? Or even fucking, what's his face? The CNN doctor guy who is, you know, not an epidemiologist, but at the very least, he's fucking, you know, a person who specializes in like communicating medical knowledge to the broader public, like Sanjay Gupta. He debates them. He fucking debates them. You can't, on the one hand, say you're a fucking ape and you're an idiot and you're just a comic, and then try to debate motherfuckers who are trying to tell you like, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what the reality is, and you're misinforming people. He literally debated them, and he will continue to debate people because it's a lie to say Joe Rogan is appearing as a chameleon here. And a lot of you stands of Joseph Robinette Rogan make it seem as though he's just simply a comic and he's just asking questions, lol, when he's not just asking questions, okay?
Dr. Peter McCullough is a cardiologist, and he is the most published physician in his field in history. Dr. Robert Malone owns 9 patents on the creation of mRNA vaccine technology and is at least...
Dr. Peter McCullough is the dude that got fucking banned from his own original, his actual fucking hospital that he used to work at. He is not a, what do you call it? He's not personally a reliable narrator of COVID information. The reason why he got banned is because he was spreading COVID misinformation, and this is what he turned into. And the other dude is Robert Malone. Robert Malone is the most famous one, who has routinely fucking lied about the mRNA vaccine. Like, that's all he does. He has lied about his involvement with the mRNA vaccine, greatly exaggerating his mRNA vaccine development, like his work on the mRNA vaccine, making it seem as though he himself is personally responsible for the fucking creation of the mRNA vaccine. And there are crank doctors. We think that when someone puts on a fucking, when someone puts on scrubs, we have this idea that like that person is automatically looking out for your best interest.
Partially responsible for the creation of the technology that led to mRNA vaccines. Both these people are very highly credentialed, very intelligent, very accomplished people, and they have an opinion that's different from the mainstream narrative. I wanted to hear what their opinion is.
This is bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. This like, oh, I'm an independent thinker, and that's the reason why I did this. Like, these are highly credentialed doctors. Independent thinkers and rational skeptics regularly exercise skepticism towards mainstream narratives, which they should. I don't have a problem with that, okay? They never, ever apply that same level of skepticism to a crank doctor wearing a fucking COVID-19 tie saying you should shove a neti pot in your fucking nose. And that's the way to deal with COVID. What the fuck? Why don't skeptics ever apply that same level of critical thinking to the side that they agree with? Joe Rogan believes in a certain thing, and the reason why he's having these people on is not because he wants to, you know, platform truths that the mainstream media is too afraid to show. It's because he fucking agrees with them. That's why he has a meme folder. The signs are there. Joe Rogan is a fucking rich, out-of-touch old man now, okay? My man has literally Facebook meme folders, man. He has a meme folder full of Facebook memes that he brings out when he's talking to fucking doctors and shit. That's not Joe Rogan. That's not, you know, the ex-Fear Factor host, UFC commentator Joe Rogan. That's your fucking dad, okay?
I had them on, and because of that, those episodes in particular, those episodes were labeled as being dangerous. They had dangerous misinformation in them. The problem I have with the term misinformation, especially today, is that many of the things that we thought of as misinformation just a short while ago are now accepted as fact. Like,
see, he's debate mode. Like, he's not like, oh man, you know, one, he defended his fucking guests and the integrity of his guests. And those guests are literally just cranks, straight cranks. And if you don't recognize that, especially Dr. Robert Malone, if you don't recognize that those guys are just fucking conservative grifters who are spreading anti-vaccine misinformation when they themselves are fucking vaccinated, by the way, so they're protected, those pieces of shit. That's the worst part. I wish there was a way to fucking suck the vaccine out of your body, because I would love to just fucking go in there, suck the fucking mRNA vaccine out of their goddamn body and just throw them out into the fucking fire pit. Go ahead, bro. Face it head on. Like the fucking future that you are influencing millions of people on these gigantic platforms to fucking face. There are still people dying of Omicron. It's literally not that fucking... Omicron is not that bad in comparison to previous variants. And there's still motherfuckers dying of it. Why? 90% of the people that are dying, or 90 plus, depending on where you're looking at the information, they're unvaccinated. They're unvaccinated. There's no other piece of information that you need, okay? That's it.
For instance, 8 months ago, if you said, if you get vaccinated, you can still catch COVID and you can still spread COVID, you would be removed from social media.
Bullshit. That's a fucking lie. There was never a 100% efficacy rate, okay? The reason why people got fucking banned off social media was because they said vaccines don't fucking work. And even then, they didn't get banned off social media. Joe Rogan doesn't get banned off social media. He lies about vaccines and he's skeptical about the vaccines regularly. That's a fucking bullshit lie. No one got fucking banned off social media for saying that vaccines are not 100% effective at stopping people from catching COVID. That's not a lie. That's the truth. And that was something that even I said. We covered breakthrough cases from the jump. Did I get fucking banned? No. This is one of the more frustrating parts about people spreading COVID misinformation, because they fucking lie and then change the narrative after the fact to fit their new purpose. Like, oh man, actually people were getting banned for saying that, you know, the COVID vaccines are not 100% effective at stopping you from getting COVID. It's like, no, vaccines have always been to stop you from dying once you get COVID, okay? And even then it's not 100%, but it damn near is close to 100%, okay?
Vaccinated, you can still catch COVID and you can still spread COVID. You would be removed from social media. They would ban you from certain platforms. Now, that's accepted as fact. If you said, I don't think cloth masks work, you would be banned from social media.
Here's the other problem. This is actually true. Here is where I will turn around and shit on the communicators, okay? The science communicators. Now, Joe Rogan is not 100% right on this. He's not 100% right on this, but from the layman's point of view, he is correct. Because the layman doesn't understand the difference between like the cloth mask not being as efficient at stopping COVID or whatever, and how different that is from N95s. We've known since day one that the properly fitted N95 is the appropriate way to prevent giving people COVID, or surgical masks. I talked about this before. If you remember, during the time of COVID, my mom had to get an MRI. I went into the hospital and I had a cloth mask on, and the person there was like, you have to put this surgical mask on. And I thought to myself, what the fuck? Why am I putting a mask on? I already have a mask on. That's when I first realized, and I do this, I talk about this shit, I read the news. So even I was duped into thinking that like cloth masks are still effective, okay? So that's something that even I will admit. I, as someone who reads the fucking news, okay, and spreads and disseminates information for a living, was also duped by the efficacy of the cloth mask. They are ineffective in comparison to way more effective versions. Now, people weren't getting banned for fucking saying cloth masks are ineffective. People were getting banned for saying masks fucking kill you. Masks remove your oxidation rate, reduce your oxidation rate. Don't wear a mask. Masking is the same as the Holocaust. Joe Rogan is making it seem as though people were getting fucking banned for saying like, well, I don't know. I think the cloth mask, ineffective in preventing COVID spread from happening in comparison to a properly fitted N95 mask. Like that's not the reason why people are getting banned.
Now that's openly and repeatedly stated on CNN. If you said, I think it's possible that COVID-19 came from a lab, you'd be banned from many social media platforms. Now that's on the...
I don't even know if that's true. And also, again, State Department. People saying COVID-19 came from a lab was not something that people got fucking banned for. And for the record, that was literally State Department propaganda originally. That was what straight up, like what Joe Rogan is talking about here. And the reason why it's like so fucking annoying is that, one, Jon Stewart fucking said it. Two, it did not come from a lab. You do not know that. It is not, it's a theory, just like the zoonotic disease spread theory, okay? It's just a theory. But politicians said it. Mike Pompeo said it on a live briefing. It was immediately communicated to all the PR outlets. If you're saying that China purposely sent it to the United States of America as a bioweapon, that's a little different than like a lab leak theory that is, again, just a game theory, okay? Donald Trump said it. Ridiculous.
On the cover of Newsweek, all of those theories that at one point in time were banned were openly discussed by those two men that I had on my podcast that have been accused of dangerous misinformation. I do not know if they're right. I don't know because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who sits down and talks to people and has conversations with them.
Oh, dude, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who has conversation. That's bullshit. The Just Asking Questions, Just Curious Andy podcaster edition.
Do I get things wrong? Absolutely, I get things wrong, but I try to correct them. Whenever I get something wrong, I try to correct it because I'm interested in telling the truth.
There was a time and place when I would have said yes to this about Joe Rogan, and I think he probably does this for other shit still to this day. But this COVID is not one of them. Rhonda Patrick, he debated Rhonda Patrick. He debated Sanjay Gupta. He debated every single person that's ever fucking told him he's wrong about the anti-vax shit because that's his thing. That's his thing. He's like, no, I'm a vaccine skeptic. And not only that, but we watched the fucking video of Jamie, like Joe Rogan fucking dealing with Jamie where he was like, I don't know. I know what you're talking about, Jamie. Does anyone have the clip where he's like literally getting dunked on and he just like moves away? He like reads the article. He reads the article further and he tries to like say basically run away from the actual point.
For young boys in particular, there's an adverse risk associated with the vaccine.
I gotta pee while this plays.
2-4-fold increase in the instances of myocarditis.
Yes, but you know what?
Hospitalization.
You know that there's an increased risk of myocarditis among that age cohort from getting COVID as well, which exceeds the risk of myocarditis from the vaccine.
I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true. No. I don't think it's true that there's an increased risk of myocarditis from people catching COVID that are young versus increased risk of myocarditis from the vaccine.
No, there is. There's both.
Well, let's look that up because I don't think that's true. Myocarditis more common after COVID-19 infection than vaccination. But is this with children? Yeah, we're talking about young people.
Men and boys aged under 30 after this is what it says here.
With children is the issue.
Well, no, we were talking about 15-year-olds.
Well, we're talking about young children.
Male, yes, 12 to 17.
12 to 17 more likely to develop myocarditis within 3 months of catching COVID at a rate of 450 cases per million infection. This compares to 67 cases of myocarditis per million at the same time following their second dose of Pfizer.
Yeah, so you're about 8 times likelier to get myocarditis from getting COVID than from getting the vaccine.
That's interesting.
Now, that
is not what I've read before, but also it's like, even when we're reading these things, it's like, what are we getting this from? Was this from...
Like, this video perfectly captures the essence of what happens when someone is like, when someone is just totally gone down the fucking rabbit hole, okay? Totally gone down the rabbit hole where like you watch someone with cognitive dissonance parse through actual factual information and like his immediate response is perfect. Like his immediate response should be shown in fucking schools. Like the goalpost changes immediately trying to fucking justify why he is that way. And it's really, really frustrating. Because like it just sucks. It's sad to see a dude with such a vast audience with so much influence just routinely and repeatedly spreading incorrect information. And he did say like, oh, it's great to be corrected by Joshua Zepps on this, whatever. He took the L afterwards. But this, in that immediate situation, was like a perfect representation of someone who is trying to, defend the hill that he's on.
I'm interested in finding out what the truth is. And I'm interested in having interesting conversations with people that have differing opinions. I'm not interested in only talking to people that have one perspective. That's one of the reasons why I had...
So what's your problem? He admitted when he was wrong? Well, he's not admitting that he was wrong in like all of these other instances, though. Yeah, he isn't admitting that he's wrong. He's admitting that he lost that debate point. Exactly.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who I respect very much, and I really enjoyed our conversation together. He has a different opinion than those men do. I had Dr. Michael Osterholm on at the very beginning of the pandemic. He is on President Biden's COVID-19 advisory board.
This is something I talked about many, many times over. Chat, you are Jamie in this situation. Pull that clip up of how different his take was with respect to Michael Osterholm versus what his take is now.
Hope this wakes people up to the value of vaccines, too. There's so many wackos out there that think that vaccines are, a scam, or they're dangerous, or there's so many people out there that won't vaccinate their children.
Thank you for what you do say about vaccines, because people listen to you, and we need every positive voice, because we have so many crazy voices out there right now
So many people are paranoid and delusional, and they want it all to be a conspiracy. There's been an amazing medical innovation in human culture, and that's vaccines. It's amazing what it's done. And have there been adverse effects on people? Of course, everything that people do. There's some people that are going to react in a bad way. It doesn't mean it's not a positive thing. And there's a reason why the cases of polio are so tiny. There's a reason why smallpox went away. It's because of vaccines.
A few moments later.
And people say, do you think it's safe to get vaccinated? I've said, yeah, I think for the most part it's safe to get vaccinated. I do. But if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated? I go, no. Are you healthy? Are you a healthy person? Like, look, don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. You should, if you're a healthy person and you're exercising all the time and you're young and you're eating well, and like, I don't think you need to worry about this. Well, I'm paranoid. Well, I seek the advice of experts whenever possible, and what I was seeing was that there was a lot of weird misinformation and conflicting information.
So that's why I say what I say about Joe Rogan, because it's fucking bullshit. It's just, I'm sorry, it's bullshit. Let's continue.
I had Dr. Peter Hotez on, who is a vaccine expert. I'm interested in finding out what is correct, and I'm also finding out how people come to these conclusions and what the facts are. Now, because of this controversy, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes with these controversies, but Neil Young has removed his music from the platform of Spotify, and Joni Mitchell, and apparently some other people want to as well. I'm very sorry that they feel that way. I most certainly don't want that. I'm a Neil Young fan. I've always been a Neil Young fan. I'll tell you a story at the end of this about that. One of the things that Spotify wants to do that I agree with is that at the beginning of these controversial podcasts, like specifically ones about COVID, is to put a disclaimer and say that you should speak with your physician, and that these people and the opinions that they express are contrary to the opinions of the consensus of experts, which I think is very important. Sure, have that on there. I'm very happy with that. Also, I think if there's anything that I've done that I could do better is have more experts with differing opinions right after I have the controversial ones. I would most certainly be open to doing that. And I would like to talk to some people that have differing opinions on those podcasts in the future. We'll see. I do all the scheduling myself, and I don't always get it right.
So this part is like great, but ultimately I don't know what is going to happen with this. Okay. Like he always falls back on like, I'm not liable. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm an idiot. But like, it doesn't sound like he doesn't believe what he's saying. It sounds like he believes what he's saying in this entire fucking compilation, and numerous other times that I've shown you since that compilation came out, where Joe Rogan absolutely does have a position on this, and he will quite literally fucking advocate for that position and regularly defend that position in front of people like Sanjay Gupta, and then flex about it afterwards. I don't think that's gonna fix itself, because what needs to be fixed in this situation is Joe Rogan. Let's continue.
These podcasts are very strange because they're just conversations, and oftentimes I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I sit down and talk to people, and that's why some of my ideas are not that prepared or fleshed out, because I'm literally having them in real time. But I do my best, and they're just conversations, and I think that's also the appeal of the show. It's one of the things that makes it interesting. So I want to thank Spotify for being so supportive during this time. and I'm very sorry that this is happening to them and that they're taking so much heat from it. And so now the Neil Young story. When I first of all, I'm not mad at Neil Young.
Like, he's not sorry that he's spreading misinformation, bro. He's sorry that he got Spotify in trouble. Like, this isn't a video where he's like, yeah, you're right. I'm spreading dangerous misinformation that could have possibly caused people to fucking die. He's just like, I'm sorry that I, hurt the Spotify bottom line a little bit by getting wrapped up in some controversy about fucking COVID misinformation. Like, you're not sorry at all. He doesn't care. And I don't think he does. I don't think he's going to change. I think he's going to have like one or two fucking people that he doesn't agree with and then continue to spread COVID misinformation. So at this stage, it's like, what do you do? I mean, like I said, I don't give a shit about Spotify banning him or anything like that. That's not the solution. Okay. Deplatforming does absolutely work. But in a case of someone like Joe Rogan, that is going to cause, I feel like, more problems because it's not Alex Jones. This isn't Alex Jones. The bulk of his commentary, the bulk of Alex Jones' commentary is reactionary, dangerous, literally has led people to fucking go and like harass victims of Sandy Hook. Joe Rogan is ultimately still someone who can get away with saying, I'm just an entertainer. I'm just a comedian. I'm just a dumbass. I just wish he would stop spreading COVID misinformation. Demonstrate growth, move on. Do have people that he disagrees with on the COVID thing and have actual communicators demonstrate what the truth is, what the actual scientific consensus is on vaccines.
Huge Neil Young fan. I've always been a Neil Young fan. When I was 19, I was a security guard at a place called Great Woods in Mansfield, Massachusetts. It's an outdoor concert amphitheater, and Neil Young was playing there, and that was the last day I worked there. I quit during the Neil Young concert. The job was kind of crazy because there was a lot of times it was fights broke out and stuff, and I think I probably got like $15 an hour, and I was not about to get beat up for $15 an hour.
Thank you, so ML Winters 18 for the 5 gifted subs.
Whenever I worked. So in case the shit hit the fan and it got too crazy, I would just put my hoodie on and leave and cover my security outfit, my security shirt. So one day during a Neil Young concert, there's the amphitheater, the way it's set up is there's a covered area outside that has seats, and then there's a lawn area behind it. And the lawn area during the Neil Young concert, they got a little rowdy. It was cold out, and they started bonfires. So they had these raging fires on the lawn, and we were supposed to go and put these fires out and stop them. So we tried for a little while, but then brawl started breaking out, and it started getting crazy. And I was like, fuck this. So I put my hoodie on, I zipped it up, and I left. And I drove home, and as I was driving home, I was singing, "Keep on rocking in the free world." That was my last day on the job. I don't even think I collected my last check. So no hard feelings towards Neil Young, and definitely no hard feelings towards Joni Mitchell.
By the way, this is literally why people like Joe Rogan. This story, this anecdote, all this shit, and him like coming from like a working class background, shit like that. That is the reason why people like him, because he is relatable. Okay, so using that relatability to fucking spread dangerous COVID misinformation, dangerous vaccine misinformation, it fucking sucks.
I love her too. I love her music. Chucky's in Love is a great song. I don't know what else I can do differently other than maybe try harder to get people with differing opinions on right afterwards. I do think that that's important, and do my best to make sure that I've researched these topics, the controversial ones in particular, and have all the pertinent facts at hand before I discuss them. Again, I'm not trying to promote misinformation. I'm not trying to be controversial. I've never tried to do anything with this podcast other than just talk to people and have interesting conversations. I didn't plan it. I can't believe it's as successful as it is. It was never really an idea that I had. The podcast started off as just fucking around with my friends and having fun and talking. And then...
Yeah, but it's not that anymore. Like, it's not. And he knows that. That's why they talk about, like, how many people fucking watch him and how the mainstream media is afraid of him and shit like that. Yeah, motherfucker. I'm not a part of mainstream media. I looked up to Joe Rogan for the longest fucking time because of what he was able to do for himself as an independent media person, as like a pivotal figure in the podcasting space early fucking on. And I see how dangerous this shit is when you're so fucking irresponsible with your misinformation just because you don't want to fucking come across like you were wrong to your gigantic audience. Like, that's it.
Popular, other people wanted to come on, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to talk to that person. Oh, he's interesting. Oh, she's got a cool book out. And then, boom, it's become what it is today, which is like...
He didn't even admit he was wrong about any of the shit about COVID. He literally said, I'm not wrong. It's okay to be skeptical, which it is, by the way. It is okay to be skeptical. It's really fucking annoying. And I think that about wraps it up for this fucking Joe Rogan take. I mean, that's it. You know, I've covered the Joe Rogan misinformation on YouTube numerous times, okay? I don't know what else to say other than just get fucking vaccinated. Holy shit.
Let's peep the last bits of Joe's video just cause Hasan didn't watch it.
So my pledge to you is that I will do my best to try to balance out these more controversial viewpoints with other people's perspectives so we can maybe find a better point of view. I don't want to just show the contrary opinion to what the narrative is. I want to show all kinds of opinions so that we can all figure out what's going on, and not just about COVID, about everything, about health, about fitness, wellness, the state of the world itself. It's a strange responsibility to have this many viewers and listeners. It's very strange, and it's nothing that I prepared for, and it's nothing that I ever anticipated. I am going to do my best in the future to balance things out. I'm going to do my best, but my point of doing this is always just to create interesting conversations and ones that I hope people enjoy. So if I pissed you off, I'm sorry. And if you enjoy the podcast, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to Spotify. Thank you all the supporters, and even thank you to the haters, because it's good to have some haters. It makes you reassess what you're doing and put things into perspective, and I think that's good too. All right. Much love to you all. Thank you to everyone. And I'm going to do my best.
This is what it's like. And I'm like, hey, there's a cliff. We're running towards a cliff. Stop, everybody stop. We got to hit the fucking brakes. And they're like, you're an anti-vaxxer. And they just fucking keep going. You don't believe in science.